Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Spirit Quest. Here live on this Thursday night at 9 p.m. UK time, probably 4 p.m. Eastern. And we're coming to you live on 105.3, right up to 107.7 FM, coming to you live from beautiful New Orleans this very evening. Big, huge thanks to go out to Michelle, Amelia, and Joe with uprntalkradio.com, actually making this happen. Literally happens because of those wonderful people, and a huge, magnificent thank you to all of those. Julie Evans and Angela Barson, good evening. I would love to say who this is. Oh my goodness, I don't know who that is. Thank you. Good evening, Paul. Love the introduction. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you for being here. But I don't know who you are. So, best way to get around that. Here's quite simple. Come out of Facebook, go right across over to YouTube. In the top of YouTube, just type in Paul Francis Medium. And guess what? It'll go boom, straight back here. You'll be right back here like that. And I'll be able to see who you are. More importantly, and this is more importantly, it's far more stable on YouTube than it is on Facebook. So come and join us. And thank you so much for that wonderful feedback on enjoying the intro. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Ellen Backman's joined us. Ellen, good evening, darling. How are you? Lovely to see you. Here we are on Thursday, the 9th of March. I say that out loud. I hear myself saying it, but my brain is having trouble to believe we are already into the 9th of March. What happened to January and February? Whoosh, whoosh. Oh, yeah, that was January and February. Wow. Anyway, here we are on Spirit Quest, the journey of life. This is all about you. It's not about me. It's about you, and I want to hear your feedback. Okay, so tonight's show, I'm kind of dedicating the show into two concepts. So let me just say hi to everybody who's come into the show tonight. So Mary Erickson has joined us. Mary, good evening. Welcome to the show. Lovely to see you. Thank you, as always, for your support. Richard Dearden. Richard, good evening, sir, and welcome to the show. And Richard saying hi to everybody as well. Richard, thank you very much for being here tonight. It's a pleasure to see you. Jan Macon says, hi, Paul. Hope you are well. Jan, thank you. I am doing pretty good. This low and slow COVID cold thing is really pretty much, we're about I don't know, 85-90% kicked it. Mary Erickson says, I've shared. Thank you, Mary. Please tell everybody else to do the same. Come on, guys, share the show. Alrighty. Now, here's what I need you to do. I need you, if you haven't already done it, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell icon that comes up alongside of it, and it will tell you every time that we're live here, whether it be on Spirit Quest Radio or whether we do our Reach Across live show. And don't forget to smash that like button. Hit that like button, because that's what actually helps us here on YouTube. Ramona, or as we like to call her, Ramona. Ronnie Huff is in the room. Ronnie, good evening, my darling. And Ronnie is actually one of the subjects I'm going to share with you guys tonight. I'm not sure. It's not Ronnie I'm going to share with you. I'm going to hopefully be able to bring Ronnie on the show. I'm going to have a chat, because she posed a question to me earlier today. And I was having a bit of a lunch break, and up came the message from Ronnie, and I went, actually, that's a really good idea to talk about on the show tonight. So I said, listen, I'm going to talk about it on the show tonight. So Ronnie's little thing, we'll talk about in a bit. Roger Garza is in the house. Hi, brother. I'm here. Unfortunately, Faye's not. Oh, what? Oh, my goodness. Faye. Sending out our love to Faye right now. Please send out your love and your strength and your healing to our darling Faye. She's not feeling quite well. Roger, please pass on all our best to your darling wife from us, please. Christine Marie, welcome, Christine. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Lynn's in the house. Lynn, good evening. Roger saying hi to everybody. Trudy Hall is here. Trudy, hi, darling. Good to see you, my love. Hope you're well. Josh Henry, hi. Second time on the show. Josh, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Julie Evans, Corin Oliver says hi to Paul and to everybody else. Corin, thank you very much. Peachan Lawrence, good evening. Peachan, welcome to the show. Leona O'Sullivan, good evening, all the way from Cork. Well, no, go on, be lovely to see you, Leona. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it very much. And I love Cork. So that was you saying great introduction to the show. Leona, thank you so much. Actually, I was talking to some promoters because I was planning to do a show in Dublin. I'm doing a show in Dublin, doing a show in, I think it's around Newry area, Armagh, and Belfast. But I said to them, why don't we go to Cork as well? So I maybe, when we're doing the tour, be showing up in Cork. Maybe, fingers crossed, you never know. Ellen says, prayers for Faye. Absolutely back you up on that one, my darling. And Facebook user, once more. Oh, Facebook user. I'm going to bring you up so you can see what I see. So this lovely person says, hi, Paul. Hope you and your family are well, with that lovely blue heart right there. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate what you've sent, and I appreciate you being here. But I tell you what, do what Leona has done. Leona came in through Facebook first, hop out of Facebook, go up into YouTube, click at the top of YouTube in the search bar and type Paul Francis Medium, and it'll take you right back here. It'll take you right back here. But more importantly, I'll be able to see who you are. And don't forget, Leona and everybody else who hasn't already, subscribe to the show. Click the subscribe button, click the little bell icon, and guess what? Every time we release something, every time I release maybe something free onto the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, you'll get to know about it and you'll be able to have it for free. Why not? So get in there and do it. Shared here in Utah. Richard, thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. I'm not too sure whether Utah is on the 10 and 10 list. Talking to the guys who are working on my tour in the United States. We're doing a 10 and 10 tour, 10 states in October, hence the name 10 and 10. I'm not too sure if Utah's on that list or not. I don't know, to be absolutely honest with you. I've told them that we have to start in New York and we have to finish in Orlando. So that's all I know. Okay. So in between, we garden. So please, if you'd be so kind, share the show, tell all your friends and family we are live. Now, I did say that I was going to talk about my darling pal Ronnie. Ronnie contacted me earlier today and she asked me about how to smudge and how to clear and how to set up a house energy wise. And I thought, you know what, that is a really good topic to discuss on tonight's show. So we will be doing that a little bit later. And I will talk to you about, I mean, it's in my book anyway, the safe way. It gives you a good sort of idea of how to do it properly, but we'll talk about it. I'm going to bring Ronnie onto the show if I can get her onto the show, and then we'll talk about how to break down and how to work with and how to dissipate negative energy and you do what you need to do. A lot of people go in there and they kind of go all balls to the wall and they break down energy and they don't finish it off. A lot of people don't finish off and then they wonder why they haven't done anything really with the energy in the house. So tonight I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to take your questions about it and I will we'll discuss about how you do that correctly. Okay. Tess Miners is in the house. Tess, good evening, my darling. Lovely to see you. Roger is saying it's been shared. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that very, very much. So don't forget, guys, coming up, the UPRN Talk Radio has quite a few shows on it now. So there's a lot of good presenters out there on the UPRN Radio Network that are presenting some fantastic shows. Make sure you try and support those guys as well. But don't forget to support my pals, Michelle and Amelia, with their show Outer Limits. Make sure you watch their show. It is mind-boggling, okay? Lovely stuff to be discussed. Now, I said what I'd like to do is with Spirit Quest, as much as it's, you know, I'm presenting it. Yes, thank you. But I want to make the show about you guys. So I will pick an idea for one half of the show and you guys pick the other half. So I said that on Facebook the other night. Okay, give me some ideas of what you'd like to talk about. And here's what we got. Reviews, life reviews. Well, that's a brilliant subject. Let's talk about that. Is heaven real? Let's talk about that. NDEs, near-death experiences. Definitely, let's talk about that. Orbs. Let's talk about orbs. Now, I watched something today, doing some research, which really shocked me, and I was mind-boggling, but it opened me up to something that I was going, oh my goodness, that makes sense. House clearing and energy replacement. So there's a whole pile. There's about, yeah, four shows there, four different shows. So what we'll do tonight, my darling pal Ronnie has asked me a question about energy and how to work with that and how to clear and set up a house. So we'll definitely, that'll be tonight's, my choice on tonight's first half of the show. The second half of the show, we'll talk about whatever you want. Um, I'd like to really push the life review thing. Okay, so that's something that I've been doing a lot of reads lately, and in a lot of readings, I've been really finding myself being pushed by spirit to do like an almost like a life review, like sort of, life coaching. A lot of life coaching comes into play with it at the minute as well. So we'll talk all about that. But more importantly, equally, I want to get you guys involved. I want you guys asking questions. I want you to come onto the show. If you'd like to come onto the show, I'll make that happen. All I need to do is have your link on Facebook. I'll send you a link to the show. You come on, we have a chat. It's that simple. Okay, and we can make that happen. Peachan, sorry, is saying, get well soon, Faye. Absolutely. Roger is out there doing his thing as well, telling everybody that we're live. Get yourselves on here and let's have a chat. Right. So if there's any questions from you guys tonight, what you would like to talk about, I'll quickly bounce those ideas. Life reviews, heaven is real, is heaven real? NDEs, orbs, house clearing, and energy replacement. And of course, talking about where we're coming from live. We're coming from New Orleans on 105.3 right up to 107.7 FM live in your ears tonight. If you're listening to me right across the beautiful state of New Orleans, then make sure that you are driving safe. If you're driving, do not close your eyes and think about what I'm saying. Keep your eyes firmly on the road. But if you have the opportunity, why not pull in, grab yourself a nice cup of coffee, hop on to YouTube and be a part of the show. Don't forget to get it out there, get this show out there and share it with your friends and family. So, a lot of emails came in this week about saying how much you enjoyed Monday night's Reach Across. I promise you, I really, really love doing that show. And it's clear that you guys are enjoying it. So that show will be here forevermore. Okay, Spirit Quest. It's building and I'm enjoying it. So the whole idea that I got for Spirit Quest was we did a show about a year ago. I think it was about a year ago, called Take a Break. Okay, and Take a Break became quite successful, but that was middle of the day for us. Okay, so middle of the afternoon for us. But a lot of people in the United States and stuff, it was first thing in the morning. So it kind of fitted nicely. So Spirit Quest is kind of the progression from Take a Break. Now, it's all about you guys. It's not about me whatsoever. It's about you guys I'm trying to give you guys all of the tools so you set yourselves up the best way you possibly can. And if because we discuss and we share, I'm learning too. So you guys might say something and I'll go, wow, I wasn't aware of that. I'll go, wow, thank you. I'll integrate that. So it's a good teacher never stops learning. Okay. And a good student becomes a teacher. So I believe in that wholeheartedly. So that's why I decided Spirit Quest should start and get a voice. And that's why we put the show together. Ellen and Julia have all said shared. Thank you so very, very much. And don't forget now, competition time. Alrighty. If you'd like to wear, first of all, you got to receive it. If you'd like to have one of our baseball caps, one of our beanie caps, t-shirts, if you'd like the books, what else did we say we were going to do? Yeah, books, CDs, DVDs. What else is there? Oh yes, having private one-to-one sessions with me and even a group session. If you'd like to win all of those particular goodies, then get out there and get people involved with the show. The more people that you bring onto the show and subscribe, the bigger opportunity you have of winning any of those particular prizes. So there's no saying you got to be in it to win it. Get out there, get people on board, because when they come on board, I don't know the technical systems work, but apparently it's able to say who it was that brought these people on board, and then you're then selected for a prize. So get out there, get people onto the show, get them to subscribe and hit the bell icon, get them to say they've come in via you. Boom, you got yourself a prize. It can be a baseball hat, it can be a beanie hat, it can be a t-shirt, it can be one-to-one session with me. Even if you're living in the UK, you could be actually invited to come out on paranormal investigations with me as my guest. Different things, signed books, all that malarkey, all available for you guys just for going and getting people to become part of the show. How cool is that? Make it happen, Captain. So, Test Miners, how wonderful to see you, darling. I missed you on Monday night. I hope you're well. It's great to see you in here. And thanks for being here. Don't forget that Monday night's show is 8 p.m. UK time. That means it's about 3 p.m. Eastern, and we do all the live reads, real-time reads on that show, Reach Across Live. And we had an amazing show on Monday night, which was just phenomenal. I was so glad that those people who got reads, it helped them out, because I got emails about those particular reads to follow. So it was really, really good. Now, Ronnie, come to me today, talk about breaking down of energy and getting a house set up. So we'll talk about that on the first half of the show tonight. The whole concept of energy is around us 24/7. So, and whether you know it or not, you actually not only implement energy, but you are actually affected by it on a literally 24-hour basis, 7 days a week. Okay. Now, what is energy? Well, energy is the only part of our lives that can't be destroyed. Energy can change form, but it can't be destroyed. So, energy is literally our genetic makeup as well as our post genetic makeup. So, basically, what's around us affects us, and who we are affects our surroundings. So, whether our mindset affects ourselves and our surroundings, it goes on. And I could be here just talking about how how it kind of all pans out. Alison Lauracy. Alison, forgive me if I got your name wrong. My sincerest apologies. Hi, do you offer readings? I do private one-to-ones. I do private group sessions. I do corporate sessions. I do TV shows, radio shows, and theaters. So the answer is yes. I do those, my darling. The best way to get a private session with me is go onto my website, www.paulfrancis111.com, and in there you'll be able to see a little link where you type that in, and you can then actually do you know what? There's a banner comes up. Look at that. There is how you can get a one-to-one. Alison, if you just look at the bottom of the screen, it'll tell you all how to do it. How cool is that? Tina Allen, blessings to everyone. Tina, you're blessing us by being here. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Now, as we were talking about the energy concept, so if you're out working every day and you're working in a kind of stressed job, alrighty, you are actually soaking up the energy of that particular job. Now, if the job's going, you're not having a great day and the energy doesn't flow the way you want it to go, weirdly enough, you're soaking that up. Now, here's what's happened is you go into your mode of transport for the sake of ease, let's call it your car. You climb into your car, you're thinking, you put your hands on the steering wheel, put your head on your hands and go, what a day. And you drive home and you're still thinking about the day, you're annoyed, you're walking through the front door, you bark at the wife or husband and the kids, and you sit down and you just go, do you know what, I want to forget about today. Well, what you're actually doing is you're actually depositing all that negative energy you've just carried all the way from your office into your house. Okay, you're actually depositing that. Now, imagine if you're literally taking a wheelbarrow full of negative energy home every day and you just dump it in the living room. Alrighty, You're doing it every day in, day out, day in, day out, blah, 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 weeks and weeks out, months and months out, blah, 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 blah. Then there'll be sometimes you're having a great day and you come home and you sit down in the living room, and after about a half an hour, your energy changes. You become tired, maybe slightly irritable, and you're thinking, I've had a great day. I don't know why I feel like this. Think about what we've just discussed. You've literally been depositing negative energy for however many days, weeks, and months. And you're sitting in this kind of primordial soup of energy, and it's starting to affect you. So, I highly recommend that you do an energy cleanse in your house at least 4 times a year. So, once a quarter, at least 4 times a year. And what you need to do is, well, I'll go through that momentarily about what you need to do it properly. Alrighty. So I would say get in about sort of 10 minutes time, get yourself between now and 10 minutes time, get yourself a pen and some paper. If you haven't already got my book, The Safe Way, by the way, get yourself a pen and paper, and I will give you a list of things of what to have, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. Alrighty. So, Alison says, hi, I'm looking for grief guidance. Is that something you can do? Thank you for answering my question. Alison, I will happily discuss with you that, no problem whatsoever. If you are, obviously you're coming in via Facebook. So the best thing to do, Alison, my darling, is to message me. Okay, so PM me through Messenger, and I will talk to you privately about that and give you some ideas and hints and tips of what to do. Okay, my love? Grief counseling is just, it's one of the harder parts of my job, but it can be rewarding when I can bring people through that sort of dark tunnel of grief. I always say love is the other side of grief. We have love, and then we lose a member of our family. We enter into grief. I always say people should experience grief. And people look at me really weirdly when I say that, and I say, well, okay, how would you know what hot is if you've never experienced cold? How would you know what up is if you've never experienced down? So we have life. Life is a never-ending movie. Okay, we happen to be the director of that particular movie. Sometimes the movie gets away from us. Most of the time, we happen to be able to say what happens in this particular movie. However, there are aspects of the movie that are going to happen that are beyond our control when we lose people. I always say that you should go into grief, you should enter grief because it shows respect for those you've lost. But where we go wrong is we have a habit of staying in grief, and that's not ever the right thing to do. Now, first of all, Alison, my darling, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you being here. Now, the very fact that you've asked about this, you have no idea how many people you're helping. It's not only with the results of our conversation, not only maybe I'm hoping that I'll be able to help you, but loads and loads of other people who will listen, watch, and think about this later, and then maybe be in a position where they can help somebody else. So this is exponential. This conversation, this discussion, and the Q&A that goes with it is going to help more people than you can imagine. We have another wonderful person who's come in and went, hello, from Facebook, and that's all I get to see. So if you are this lovely person that said, hello, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. But because you come in through Facebook, that's all I get to see. If you come out of Facebook, my advice, go into YouTube. Top of YouTube, you'll see the search bar. Type in Paul Francis Medium, and that will take you straight back to this show. It'll bring you right back here, and I'll be able to see who you are, and we can have a discussion. Dawn Hatton, welcome, my darling. How wonderful to see you. Hi, Paul, and good evening to everybody. Can you share some knowledge about the angels, please, Paul? Which ones to call and for what purpose? Actually, I will, and that has actually got something to do with my pal Ronnie's request about tonight's show. At this moment in time, let me just continue with my darling Alison. Now, Alison and everybody else listening to the show tonight, let me just say something to you. Okay, we've got an idiot who's jumping in on the show. Somebody who's actually called themselves Angel Ass. So what we'll do is we'll just block that idiot. And my advice to you guys with the utmost is do not go to an idiot who does this, because they are rip-off merchants. Okay, and they'll just rip you off. So do not, under any circumstances, accept a reading from these idiots. Alrighty. Summer Dawson, welcome, my darling. Thank you. You're new to the show, and it's a great pleasure to see you. Yeah, Tina Allen says yes, they're trolls. So this angel, this angel's actually, this person's called herself Angel Ass. That's enough for you, isn't it? Really? That's brightened my day up. Call themselves Angel Ass. So going back to my my darling Alison, who's brought this in. So Alison and everybody else who's listening to me tonight, you're going to experience this one thing every human on this planet will experience. Okay, there are two absolutes in this world. Two, only two. One, we're born. Two, we cross over. They're the two absolutes. All right. So in that absolute, we're going to experience loss. Now, I'm cutting this right down short. However, let me just share with you guys. Imagine I have the ability to flip you over. Okay? Imagine I flip you up into the spirit world, up into heaven, and you're looking back at your friends and family here on the earth plane. And they have entered into that area called grief. All right? So they're grieving your loss. You've crossed over and they're grieving. Here's a monster question. How long, now I really, really want your answer, all of you, please. How long do you want to see your friends and family in grief, in darkness, in tears, and in loss? How long do you want to see that to happen? Now, there's a real question. How long? So I'm going to give you a second to answer that. Renee says to me, "Hi, Paul, are you doing readings today?" No, Renee, the readings are Monday nights, my darling, which is Reach Across. This show's all about this is more about discussion about people and ourselves and life. And actually, the show is called Spirit Quest, The Journey of Life. So it's about that. Mary Erickson says, "It's a true oxymoron." It really, really is. Kathy Little's joined the show tonight. Kathy, good evening, my darling. Wonderful to see you. So a lot of people are coming back straight away saying, not very long. I don't want anybody to suffer. Not long. Ellen saying maybe a month. That's very particular, Ellen. I'll give you 1 month. 1 month. That's all you're getting. So Summer says, "Can I have a reading?" Best thing that if you want to book a reading, Summer, is go on to my website, which you can see along the bottom of the screen, and I will happily sort a reading out for you. Now, my point here is you don't want to see your friends and family, be it 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 month, 1 year. You don't want to see them in tears. You don't want to see it. So remember that when you are sad, and then there are no words, there is no magic wand to be able to take away grief. There's not. And don't let anybody tell you that it gets better with time. Okay, that's absolute rubbish. Okay, that's not true. When we lose, I'm going to put myself in the line of fire here for this, because when I lost my dear mom, my beautiful mom, I was a professional medium then. Okay, professional psychic medium, had been for some time, and I couldn't deal with her loss. I couldn't deal with it. I could deal with other people's, but I couldn't deal with hers. I couldn't deal with myself. And we are 25 years down the line, and I still miss her. So what happens is we become used to them not being around in the physical sense. Okay. And the more I work, the more I understand and know that she's around me in a spiritual sense and in a metaphysical sense. And she very often lets herself know that she's around me. But the loss is something we get used to, but the strain doesn't ever go away. So I won't ever lie to you guys. I won't ever tell you any kind of untruth, because time only teaches us to get used to them not being here. But what we try and do is we take the negativity of the loss and replace it with the positivity of that they are in a beautiful and amazing place. They have absolutely no kind of illness of any sort. Okay. If, for example, if they had lost limbs, though, that's all replaced. They are now linked up with all of the people they mourned. So they will have gone through mourning of their own behalf, and all of the people that they mourned now get to meet and greet them with absolute and total love. I mean, there is no words to describe the kind of love you receive. It's not. It's completely unconditional. It's amazing. Renee says to me, "No worries, I might have to book a reading because I've got a burning question." Absolutely, Renee, no problem at all. You give me a call and I will happily sort that out. Summer says not at all, if ever at all. Yes, I completely understand that, Summer. Everybody's clearly off the same page because everybody's saying roughly about the same thing. Renee says, no, Norris, I might book a private reading, have a burning question. Yes, there's my darling Sue Vinicum. Welcome to the show, my love. Good to see you. I don't want to see anyone. I'm going to bring Summer's message up on the screen because I can see it better from here. I don't want to see anyone I love ever hurting. I personally don't think that they can see us when we are hurting because there are no tears in heaven. You're right. You're right in the fact that they don't experience tears and pain, but they are able to see what we're going through. And I hear it constantly when I'm doing reads. Tell her that we were with her while they were, experiencing tears in a particular place. The amount of times that I've said that, and basically they understand why we're having tears and why we're sad, but they don't want to see that. So as much as you are right, Summer, they don't have pain and anguish and sadness, but they're able to see what we're going through. So you are right. I'm going to just use the concept that you are right. Okay. Just learn to live with the good memories, says Alan, and that's a fantastic response. And try to move around and make them proud. Absolutely. I've said that all the way through my career. If you want to honor those who have crossed, if you want to honor those who have crossed over, then be the best you can be here. Okay. If you want to really, if you want to make them proud of you, make your life worth as big as it can be. Okay, what is your life worth? Now, you heard me say life review earlier on. That's what this is all about. We'll dedicate a show to that maybe next week. And in fact, we'll talk about life reviews and how that works and how a life review works in heaven. Excuse me. Beg your pardon. And that could be another show because that could be a 2-hour show just in itself. So if you want to honor them, my mom and dad, I want them to be totally and utterly proud. Okay, I want to be proud of myself. But there's another aspect that I'm going to share with you on that particular front. Is this? I want you to imagine for a moment that you're at your own funeral. Imagine you are able to visit your own funeral. Okay, so when you have the people who get up and talk about you. Okay, so you have people get up and they want to talk about you and their experiences with you. Imagine for a minute what you want them to say. Okay, what do you want to hear coming from all of the people who want to talk about you? What is it you want them to say? Then live your life by those principles. Okay, because they're your principles. What do they want to say about me? I want them to say things like, he was an amazing dad. He loved his children, absolutely put his family first. I want them to say he was very charitable. He helped people where he could, every opportunity he could. He tried to make the world a better place. If they could say either of those three with absolute conviction, I'll be happy. I'll be a happy person. I want them all to say they're going to miss me, of course. And then I want my wife to go to the nunnery. Now, I just hate having to accept that she's gone. I can completely concur with that, my darling. 100%. and I want her back. I said the same thing. Do you know what, Alison? It took my mom three. Now, let me preempt. I'm a professional psychic medium. Okay, have been for a long, long time. I've done multiples of thousands of reads, multiples of thousands of reads. Yet it took my mom 3 years to get through to me. 3 years. And even then, for the first two experiences that she came through to me, I couldn't deal with it. Well, I remember sitting at the end of the bed and crying my eyes out because I knew she'd come through to me in what's referred to as a visitation, and I couldn't deal with it. Could not deal with it. Okay, for the first two times, and the third time, she came through from a different perspective, and I got the message. But do I want her back every day? I want her back. Do my mom passed with very, very, very bad cancer. Cancer affected her lower spine, her kidneys, her lungs, and eventually her brain. So the amount of pain that she was going through was ridiculously immense. The pain, the stuff that the medicines they were giving my mom had to be pumped straight into her stomach. It couldn't go in via her veins. It couldn't go in via her mouth. It was so intense and so strong that it had to be pumped straight into her stomach. And the doctors said to me, let me give you an idea of what kind of pain medication your mom's on. If I take a teaspoonful of what your mom's receiving and I give it to you here now, it'll kill you. It is that intense. And I was like, okay. So weirdly enough, that conversation, albeit scientific, is one of the sticking plasters that has helped me, because as much as I want my beautiful mom back by my side every single day, I never want her to go through that again. I never want her to experience any kind of pain or any kind of suffering in any kind of way again, because she's had enough. She deserves a seat in heaven. So I kind of try my best to come to terms with she's in heaven with my dad right now. So it's perfection. Do I want her to come back to this world with all the stupidities going on with it at this moment in time? God, no. God, no. I want her to be with my dad, with her friends and family. Three of her sisters just joined her in the last 2 years. So I've lost three of my aunts. And they're up there having a party. Do I want to wreck that party? No, not at all. So when you say I want her back, I've heard those exact words rattle out of my mouth and around my brain and in my heart for many, many, many years. But one of the best and only ways that I found to be able to try and combat that pain is to sit with family and talk about it. Talk about what you're feeling. Talk about all of the fantastic experiences that she left for you guys, all of those amazing lessons, all of those amazing days, and sit and focus on the happiness that she was able to provide to you guys. That is a good medicine. That's an honest and true medicine. Island says you can always feel them around. You can. At the beginning, it's tough because your mind is so wrapped up in the loss, but they are definitely around you. That much I will definitely say. There's one thing that gives me comfort, and I was just discussing that. Alison says there's one thing that gives me comfort is no pain or suffering from her anymore, and I hope it's all in peace. Oh, you can be absolutely assured it is totally in peace. Summer says, okay, let's bring Summer up here. Summer Dawson says to me, Paul, I'm just curious, since we haven't passed yet, how do we know what it's like on the other side? Well, let me, I can share with you experiences. That's what I can share with you. Two of those experiences are NDEs, which stand for near-death experience. Okay. Another one is when I was actually doing a very special, when I was doing my training as a medium. I did a I did a special training where I allow the spirit energy to take over my body. And basically what it was, I remember to this day, where is I let that energy come, use my body as a conduit and speak through me to the to the crowd. And it felt like I just shifted over in this seat, but I was then projected to this other place. And this other place was, oh my goodness, wow. How do I experience, how do I share this experience? It was, if you can imagine, the most perfect little house in the prairie concept. Okay, fields of beautiful greens and flowers, and blue skies with the odd scattered cloud, absolute perfect temperature, and just a beautiful fragrance in the air, and the feeling of, what's the right words, home. Perfect, probably the only word. Now, if that's something I experienced during that training, where I literally stepped out of my body for all intents and purposes, and allowed that energy to come in. And by the way, it doesn't happen in seconds like poor old Derek Agora used to do. Um, it takes quite a bit of meditation and quite a bit of training to be able to allow that energy to come in, and for you to sort of step out and be completely safe and protected while you're going through it. Um, so that experience, summer, plus two NDAs, near death experiences, where I was taken up, then particular meditations where I specifically went to meet people. All of those combined with the thousands of reads that I've undertaken over the last 35 years. All of that combined information, all of that put together, gives me an idea of what it's like, not absolutely here's what it's all about. What I do know is the other side, heaven, if you want to call it that. It doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it heaven, nirvana, you can call it the other side of life, the next life. It doesn't matter. Then what I have understood is it is we carry on. The progression on is about our souls, about us. It's about our soul learning and discovering and increasing its capacity, and learning that everybody is actually connected. We are all connected. And this is why I can't deal with this rubbish about, oh, they're from that country, they're from this country, he's that race, there's this. I don't believe that there's multiples of races. I believe in one race, and that's called the human race. Okay. um so, but within the human race is an energy called a soul, and that is the one connection we have as a humanity throughout this entire world. And the sooner we get around to that, the quicker we'll be able to take care of this world a lot better. And then we don't have these idiots like, that nut job in Russia bombing people in another country. Oh, give me a break. So that's how I know what I know so far, Summer. I do hope that helps. Trudy says, "What are your thoughts on spirits that stay here?" There are multiples of reasons that I found out. I never close my mind to learning. First and foremost, okay. Do I know everything? Not a chance. I don't know what I don't know. Okay, so I'm open to learning. But from what I've found out, once again, through research, through investigations, through reads, and various things of that nature, is there are souls, shall we say, or spirit energies who remain here because they loved it so much they don't want to leave here. Okay, that's one element. Another element is surprise. In other words, they're not aware they're crossed. They've crossed. That's, and I've heard that so many times as well, where spirit energies were not aware they'd actually crossed. Um, Fear is a big factor, from what I understand. From, if you remember, when we did an investigation where I was asked to come out to a house where an entity had been throwing around DVD players. If you remember that, he wasn't aware of how he should cross or how he could cross, And once I explained to him how he could cross and that he could come back and visit anytime he wanted, all the activity stopped. So there are multiples of reasons why they're here. Okay. But the biggest reason is they want to come back and visit. That's the biggest reason. They want to have that connection. The one true connection that we have here and there, the one true connection we have between the both worlds is love. The bonds of love we have here still connect to us, and to our spirit family in spirit. Um, Julia says, yes, they are with the loved ones. Pamela Gray says, I've heard. Let's just bring Pamela up here so I can. It's easier to bring you up on the screen, my darling. We've got another idiot coming in here. Let's just. It's Amy Brooke. Okay, just block her. This Amy Brooke, guys, I haven't sanctioned her. No idea who she is. Best advice is not pay any attention for. And any of you guys got a moment, please report them to Facebook. Thank you. Pamela Gray says, hey, Paul, I heard you're going to talk about angels, so I had to rush over. Okay. I'm going to talk about one aspect of how I work with angels, but we'll definitely deal with that. So, Amy Brooke, my advice to you, darling, is if you haven't got the capacity to be able to, work on your own behalf and work in a field of energy where you can build up a good following, then don't work at all. Okay. Becca Williams has joined. Becca, good evening, my love. Good to see you. Kathy's laughing her head off, which I love to see. Tina Allen's, everybody's going, no, thank you. Please, guys, if you do me an idea, go and report these idiots. Okay. Too many people have no idea what death is all about, says Pamela. When someone passes, they give up and stop living. That's very, very true, Pamela. Absolutely. And that is the very last thing your loved one wants you to do. You nailed it. Spot on correct. Absolutely nailed it. The last thing our family and spirit wants to see is us giving up. What they do want to see, they want to see us making something of this life. Okay, that's what they want to see. They want to see us taking the life by the horns and getting on with it and making it something. Now, there's two aspects, like I mentioned. Our spirit family and friends who are watching over us. Now, here's a big thing. All right, a lot of people come to me going, what does spirit say I should do about this? And that's not a really good question, because our family and friends in spirit, they've had their life here. Now they've crossed over to the other side. It is not their job to live our lives. That's our job. Okay. They will help by dropping little hints and little things in our path. Now, here's the big thing. We have a little concept called free will. We can either choose to pick up this thing that they've dropped in front of us, or we can choose to step over it and completely ignore it. They will not live our lives for us. That's our job. It crushes them when you want to give and you give up on everything, Pamela. Perfect. Everybody's saying no to this idiot Amy, and you're absolutely right there. Crystal Rose says they never left. That is a good concept. Good to see you in here, by the way, darling. Lovely to see you. Thanks for being here tonight, Crystal Rose, a very dear friend of mine. Dawn says to me, they never stop being characters in your book. I like that. They never stop being characters in your book. They're an active part of our story. They might be over there, but the pages are forever filled with the memories. What? You should be a poet. That is amazing. I'm going to read that for all of the people listening to us around the world. They never stop being characters in our book. What an amazing concept. Their active part in our story might be over, but the pages are forever filled with memories of them. Wow. Dawn Hatton, you poet, you. Alison Laurie says she was amazing. There you go. There you go. There's the beginning of the healing right there. There's the beginning of the healing. Alrighty. And you know what? Don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to let go. If you want to have a good cry, that's healing. We refer to that as healing. Okay. Getting rid of that stress, getting rid of that hurt, that pain. But don't do it on your own. That's my advice. Don't do it on your own. Do it with family, do it with friends. and remember that she was amazing. Because I tell you what, they love being acknowledged. They love being spoken about, but they also like to be acknowledged. Now, what I mean by that is, mom, dad, grandmom, grandfather, if you're here, thank you. They like that. They love to be acknowledged. Our lovely pal just jumped in from Facebook. Hello, everybody. Again, don't know who you are, but thank you for being here nonetheless. I say this to everybody: is go ahead, come if you're on Facebook and you come on, and because that's all we get to see. Alrighty, come out of Facebook, go into YouTube. At the top of YouTube, it'll be a search bar. Type in Paul Francis Medium, and you'll be able to come straight back to the show. It'll take you right back here in seconds, and you'll be able to be a part of the show, and I'll be able to see who you are. Tina Allen says, you can smell them. Yes, you can. Well, that's kind of a play on words, of course. They will make aromas happen around you. They will make, like, for example, they'll make a fragrance that will remind you of mom, brother, or sister, aunt, cousin, grandmother, whomever. They'll make a fragrance happen. So it can be, like I say, a fragrance like a female fragrance for a mom, maybe an aftershave for a dad or grandfather, brother, husband. Very often they will have the smell of cigars or pipes, and very often they'll also make the smell of cooking happen around you as well, because somebody may have been well known for a particular as being the cook of the family, so they will do that. So it's yes, they can let you know about that. They can also let you know by sending little messengers, what I call messengers, little things like butterflies or birds. They can also let you know they're around you by particular songs. Alrighty. Where I hear most of the time, that happens to be in my car, obviously, because I spend a lot of time in the car. But I'll climb into the car, I'll put on the radio, and up will come a particular song. And that song usually reminds me of somebody in particular. Recently, I'm hearing a lot of ABBA, and ABBA is my dad. It links me to my dad. So Crystal says to me, says to us as a collective here tonight, we need to remember happy times as they don't look back on their illnesses. You know what? Crystal's absolutely spot on. Very often, they will overlay a symptom on me. For example, they'll put a strain across my chest to represent either lung or heart related issues, or lower back or leg or foot, whatever. They'll affect, or they make me dizzy for some reason. They'll affect me in a physical sense, but they don't care. They are not remotely caring about how they crossed. They're just aware of the fact that they have crossed, and they're now aware of the fact that they're linked up to all the people they lost. So how they crossed doesn't bother them. Another thing that they're not bothered about is what we refer to as politics. Okay, they don't care. They really don't care about family politics. Okay, it's not important. So if you didn't get the opportunity to say goodbye, they don't see it that way. They can see you, they can interact with you, so they don't really get caught up on saying goodbye. We do. Us here, we do, but they don't. Okay, so I always sort of explain it like this. When we cross over, we kind of hang up our code of inhibitions. So what we thought was important here really isn't. It's not that important. Okay, what's important is that we're aware of who we are, that we're aware of and affect the people we love, and the things that we want to do in life to make this life important and a trailblazer for all of those who come behind us. Be a beacon is what I say. Be a beacon. And they want to see that when your time is up here and you do crossover, that you're able to look back on your life review and be happy. Okay. Now, Alison says, is it possible that she came to me in a dream, or was I just dreaming with her in it? How do I know she has come to visit? Right, two things. We discussed this oddly enough in last week's show. There are two things. One is a dream, and one is a visitation. They are two separate entities. A dream is just your conscious and your subconscious just kind of putting things together. Now, if you've been dealing with her loss, that'll be constantly on your mind, so that will be part of your dreaming. However, they can contact us through the dream state. Now, we refer to that as a visitation. Now, let me quickly explain the differences. Number one, the dream. Their dreams very often don't make sense. Okay, so they're odds and bits and bags. And imagine throwing a whole pile of little bits of a movie and you just pull them out and stick them in a straight line. Some of the bits might make sense and other bits don't. That's kind of like what a dream is. And usually you'll forget about the dream within 24, 48 hours. A visitation is something completely different. A visitation is where they come in and they do interact with you, you interact with them. The difference is you'll remember every single aspect of it. You'll remember where you were, what you spoke about, what you were wearing, what they were wearing, what the message was, and you'll remember it literally. I remember the 3 times my mom came through to me, and that's 20 odd years ago. Okay, and I still remember today every visitation from my mom, from my dad, and from my grandparents who've crossed over. Oddly enough, none of my cousins have actually made any attempt yet. But we'll figure that one out as they get. So she will be making visitations to you, Alison, because you'll probably be more open to that, and she'll make it gentle. It'll be little kind of baby steps. She's not going to come in with a full on, hey, listen, you need to pay attention. I'm here, because you're not ready to deal with that yet. And just as much as they wouldn't appear to you in the middle of your living room, okay, you're not ready for it. None of us are. If my mom appeared in my living room right now, probably pass out. I would. And don't be trying to sit there and go, oh, I wouldn't. Yes, you would. If your dead parent, I don't like to use that word, they're not dead, okay? If your parent appeared to you right in the middle of the living room, you'd likely pass out. You'd be mad at yourself for passing out, but you likely would, because the shock would be just too much. Kate Hartshorn has joined the show. Kate, good evening and welcome to the show. Lovely to see you. Crystal says, I read a book a nun had written on the passing of her sister and changelings. On the other side, we can wish things up in a jiffy. Sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds good. Morning Bolton, blessings to you too. Welcome to the show. Kathy Little says, we are a human race, one collective of the universe. I like that, Kathy. Thank you for sharing that. Dawn has said, I've had some mediums or so-called mediums telling me messages from my loved. I'll start that again. You know, my teeth do work. I have had some mediums or so-called mediums tell me messages from my lost loved ones, and they describe them to me. And they have been so wrong. So I've had my doubts. I feel that you are sincere. Oh gosh, you can be absolutely guaranteed I'm 100% sincere. Summer, listen, I'll tell you how sincere I am. It's never happened, I'm touching wood. But if you came to my office, for an example, and you sat down for a read and I wasn't getting anything for you, I have the courage to say to you, Summer, I'm really sorry. I'm glad you're here, but I'm not picking anything up for you. And then there are different things that I would do to try and help energy move, but I would never lie to you. Okay. The information that I come through in a read is literally, you get it as I get it. Okay. I don't twist it. I don't bend it. I don't shape it. And I'd never try and fit it into your life. That's your job. Okay. My job is to deliver the mail. Okay. I'm the postman. My job is to deliver the mail. It's your job to read the mail, not me make it try and fit for you. Sometimes little messages, little letters don't mean anything until a day or two later. Then that's usually when I get people come back to me going, oh my God, you said this in a reading. Oh my God. And very often, very often you'll get information coming through in a read, and I call it deer in the headlights. Okay, you're going, it's going, you're going, that's why I highly encourage family group readings. It's something I was doing just before lockdown. I was doing a lot of family group readings, and it's something I encourage. And the idea is you're with your family members, and I come along and I do a session for the family. So I could be sitting in front of you somewhere, and I could be going da 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 da, da and you're going, uh, uh, I, and your mind's going, I have no idea what the heck he's talking about. But your family members are going, I know exactly what he's talking about because they're not on direct line of fire. So when you, I'm just thinking back to some of the group sessions I've done with family members, and it's just a laugh because one person says to the other, "Oh, you idiot! That's such and such," and they're going, "Oh my god, yeah!" It's good fun, and that's what reading should be. Reading should be fun. Okay, they shouldn't be negative. Alrighty, is it is it a way of stretching that? You know, trying to put, no, I don't believe readings are a cure for grief. They should never be. And I really don't like people coming to me just after they've lost someone. Don't come to me for read right after just losing someone, because readings and mediums are not a cure for grief. However, if you want to come to me and ask me questions, I'm more than happy to help you. And if something pops up during that read, yeah, okay, all well and good. I was asked last week, what's the fastest time that someone's come through to you from their crossing? And it's 45 minutes from their crossing to coming through to me. I'm not after Guinness Book of Records. It just happened that way. The longest I think is about 50 odd years. You know, they were in spirit for 50 odd years, and yet they still made their presence known. So there's no start, middle, and end. It just is. But one thing I will absolutely, totally tell you is I will always tell you the truth. I won't make stuff up. You can be assured of that. Christine Marie, welcome to the show. How wonderful to see you. Again, I've got a lovely Facebook user. Hi. Sorry, I have no idea who you are. I'm because you haven't okayed StreamYard on your Facebook, we can't see who you are. So the best way is to come out of Facebook, go into YouTube. Top of YouTube, you'll see the search bar. Just type in Paul Francis Medium. It'll take you straight back to this show, straight back here. But I'll see who you are. More importantly, coming through YouTube is a lot more stable than Facebook, because Facebook has a habit of switching off the show because they don't like StreamYard for some reason. Dawn's having a wee giggle. Tyler Rickard, welcome. Lovely to see you. Great. Thank you very much for being here. Crystal says, hey, Paul, my mom is one of 9, few past now, and they get together annually for my granny, Ollie's birthday. That is amazing. I highly promote that. I highly promote family gatherings. Totally and utterly promote that. You hear me say at the end of every show, communicate, appreciate, and validate everyone in your life, so a medium never has to do it for you. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Communicate, appreciate, and validate everyone in your life that's important to you, so a medium never has to do it for you. Communicate, talk to the people you love, appreciate the people in your family, then tell them that you appreciate them. Communicate, appreciate, and validate. Catherine has joined us. Good evening, Catherine. How's Canada tonight? I do hope you're well. Richard says, just seeing if there's any messages for me today. Thanks. Richard, I don't do reads on this show. That's Monday nights, my friend. You're more than welcome to come back on Monday nights and I'll do readings. This show's more about the discovery of how you can make your own connection yourself, how you can understand how they're around you. I appreciate you being here tonight, Richard. I really, really do. 100%. But I don't do readings on the Thursday night show. That's Monday nights. If something, don't get me wrong, if somebody was to come in and I had to pass a message on, that'll happen. I'll do that. I'm not going to turn around to them and go, oh, I'm not working tonight, sort off. That's not how it works. If they need to get a message through, I'll deliver it. I promise you that. However, I don't come in with my ritual about opening up and getting myself prepped and secured, ready for reads. That's Monday night show. But please come back and support me there. Stay here tonight because there's a lot of stuff you can learn, and you're in a lovely group full of amazing people who are going through and have dealt with what you're going through as well. So you're in a good group of people. Just to remind you all, this is Paul Francis, and I'm talking to you on Spirit Quest, the journey of life. Coming to you live on 105.3 right up to 107.7 FM. Coming to you live from UPRN Talk Radio, being broadcast from the very beautiful New Orleans. Welcome to tonight's show, y'all. Don't forget, there are a lot of shows before and after. One of those amazing shows is The Outer Realms, which is hosted by Michelle and Amelia. I totally advise you guys to watch that show as well. Crystal says, I had smoke blowing on my face. Would you believe that? Thanks, Grandad. Now, Pamela says, at our farm, the farmer loved to garden with me. His wife always in the kitchen, and oh my God, the house would smell amazing. Oh, stop it, will you? You're even starting to get me. I'm starting to feel hungry now, Pamela. Thanks for that. But even her husband can. It's great when you experience it together. It is great when you experience an interaction together. Be it even be it smell, be it sounds, be it an active energy around you. I love it. I absolutely love it. Trudy says, I couldn't be saddened by my dad's passing. I knew he was ready to go and wanted to go even. I completely understand that. If I don't share with you my losses, then don't get the opportunity to learn. And it's my fault. I always thought that my dad and I were so different, basically water and oil. So we didn't have the same ideals. We didn't have the same thought processes. We didn't really, we didn't even like the same kind of sports together. And I always thought, and that was what pushing us apart. But what I realized was it wasn't any of that stuff at all. It was, in fact, that we were very alike. That was my dad. My dad was amazing. He was an amazingly highly motivated man. He was an athlete. I wasn't, but that didn't make any difference. Didn't mean he loved me any less. I enjoyed martial arts and motorsport. He enjoyed athletics, all track and field, and he loved all that. But I realized coming towards the end of his life that it was, in fact, we were so alike. We should have celebrated that, and we didn't. But I didn't like seeing my father in his last days. I really didn't like seeing him because my dad was a phenomenal athlete. My dad could run the marathon in the same speeds as Linford Christie. Okay, that's how good my dad was. And the man who went over to visit my mom, who went to live with my mom at the end of it. I'm just trying to find an easy way of saying when my dad passed, it wasn't the man I knew. So part of me was saying, I want you to be with mom. But when he did, it still ripped my heart in half. So as much as I didn't want to see him in pain and then going through somebody who was very, very proud and very, very powerful, who literally had trouble holding a cup of tea towards the end of his life, when he did cross over, it did still hurt a lot. So I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Are you enjoying the show? I don't want to make it too sad, by the way. Richard says, Paul, how do you not freak out when spirits come to visit? I still get it that way. I don't freak out when spirits come to visit me because that's something I want to happen. 1 second, please. Now, and let me share with you. First of all, Richard, great question. Thank you for asking. Here's why I don't freak out. And weirdly enough, when I'm doing paranormal investigations, when I don't like to use the word, but when I'm out doing ghost hunts, I don't understand when you watch these TV shows, when you see people who go on paranormal investigations then lose their mind when something makes it known that they're there. They scream and shout and run out the door. Weren't you on a ghost hunt? So you go ghost hunting and a ghost or a spirit makes itself known, then you run out the door screaming. I don't understand that. However, the reason why I don't lose my mind is if spirit lets me know it's there, its spirit comes in, be it on a paranormal investigation ghost hunt or when I'm doing a read. If they're talking to me, then that tells me that the end of this life isn't the end of life. Okay. So when our machine, when this body shuts down, it's not the end. And that is my whole focus on what I do. The reason why I do what I do isn't to say, oh, look at me, isn't it? Look at he's a brilliant medium and he's an author and he's this and that. It's not that. That's not why I do what I do. The reason I chose to do what I do is to prove that that we carry on. Okay. Then and if I can get people to forget and not worry about death, then they'll focus on life. They'll focus on making their lives that much better. They'll not, good 50% of my life was spent worrying about death. I didn't want anybody else doing that. So I get out there, I do the reads, I do the paranormal investigations, all to prove that life carries on. So don't worry about death. Get on with living. That's why I do what I do. And that's why I don't get freaked out. But nonetheless, Richard, great question. Alison says, I agree. I do not think I would be ready for it either. Obviously, talking about mom turning up in the middle of the living room. I don't think anybody, people might be all bravado and say, oh, I could do it. I could do it. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. Rubbish. I've not had spirits around me all my life. I've not. I'll read that again and put it on the main screen. Pamela says, I've never not had spirits all around me. I've seen them all my life. That's great. Fantastic. Linda's saying, hello, Carrie, sweetheart. I don't know who Carrie, sweetheart is, but I must have missed something. Pamela saying, many angels in this call. Right. Okay. I was going to talk about how I work with angels. Okay. We're having so much of a good discussion about the other side that they haven't got around to the angels thing and the dealing with setting up the house. I got to do that. Actually, I got to get on do that momentarily. I had a mini reading, says Alison, and I was overexcited that it blanked. Yeah. I call it deer in the headlights. It's very often the case. Paul, any call letters listening? FM 102.7. Not too sure what you're asking there, Rog, my friend. Are you talking about the calls coming in 105.3 to 107.7? Any call letters questioning listening to FM 102.2, 102.7? Dawn Haslam says, and I better bring that up so I can see it. I love the hug of a friendly energy visit. Being aware of friendly energy and the manifested negative energy is helpful. Remember, we invite in our negative as well as our positive. It's all of us. Debatable, Dawn. I don't think people go out there to deliberately invite negativity. I think we're pre-programmed to negativity. We're pre-programmed on many, many, many levels. Most of the pre-programming is all about trying to keep us safe. Don't do this or that'll happen. Don't touch this. Do not do this. Don't bind, down, up, down, sit. All of that pre-programming when we're children is primarily to keep us safe, but it sticks with us. Don't trust. How many people have told that? Don't trust strangers. Don't trust. What the child hears is don't trust. That's what the child hears. And then we associate with strangers. That's a different show completely. Dawn says, you can feel the angel's presence too, Pamela. Yeah, you can. Well, angels talk to me on occasion. Not often, oddly, but they do. Are people choosing to be psychic or medium, or are they gifted with it? That's a good question. Every human on the planet, bar none, every human on this planet is psychic. Okay, they may not understand what psychic is. The human race has got a habit of trying to label everything. For some reason, we have to label everything. We can't just go with. Now, way back in the days of the caveman, we trusted our instincts. We didn't challenge them. We trusted them. Today, you will call it gut instinct. Um, Somebody might say something to you, and you're just going, "There's something telling me X, Y, Z." Your gut instinct is going, "No, I'm sorry. I know what you're saying, but my gut instinct is telling me different." You'll say it, my gut instinct. That is actually a psychic ability. That's your energy and everything around you working with you and for you and working in your behalf. And that is a psychic ability. For example, parents, moms specifically, know their children are fine, even if they're not near them. That there's a link, there's an energy that you understand and you can feel that you just go, nah, I know they're okay. Or the opposite, as the case may be. That is a psychic link as well. Okay. How many of you have been sitting in your house and you've been thinking about somebody, and sure enough, boom, phone goes, it's them. It's links, it's energies. So every human is psychic. However, mediums are different. Okay. All mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. That's the difference. The difference between mediumship and psychic is two different elements completely. Psychic is the way I describe it is from the throat chakra down, so everything that's tactile and here, and from the throat chakra up is mediumship, and we deal with energy from the other side, and that's kind of nutshelling it, really. Catherine says, "Does knowing the name of a sitter help connect the sitter to a loved one in spirit? You invite those on Facebook to join you here so you can see who they are. Does it help you connect for them?" Um, yeah, yeah. I'm oddly enough, not necessarily the name per se, Catherine, but the reason why I invite them to come here and talk to me is otherwise they get called Facebook, and that the reason why I want to see them here as a person is because I like to talk to people as people. Otherwise, they just get called Facebook user. That's it. And that's not really. It's like that Sam Smith rubbish crap that's going on. He doesn't want to be called a he or a she. He wants to be called an it. No, you're either a he or a she. No, there's no in between. So I like to talk to people as a person. Really, that's why. And then when I'm doing the reads, I very often only look at their face. That's it, or the little icon. So while I'm working, um, the energies will pull in and drag me to an icon. Okay, and if you're called Facebook user, there's no link there, and that's why. So I hope that helps, my love. Oh, we got another idiot. Look, another one called Rochelle Medium Tarot. What a name! Right, all of the names you chose that one. Rochelle Medium Tarot. All the names in the world, Rochelle, and you're clearly not either a medium or a tarot reader. So I would suggest you go back and learn. Leanne, good evening. Hi, Paul. Sometimes their smell is so overwhelming when they visit. Oh, it is. The reason why it's overwhelming when they visit is because they know that's how you're gonna acknowledge them. For an example, if a particular butterfly was their calling card, that'll happen every single time. With me, it's a robin. When a robin turns up, I know my mom and dad are about me. Or if I'm trying to make a decision, a robin will turn up. And it doesn't matter where I am in the world, it'll happen. A robin will turn up. So for me, it's a robin. Lately, it's little songs coming from ABBA. That's dad. Or if I say DeLorean, that's dad. He will very often let him myself being on that way. Mom will be different. She'll do different things. But if Leanne, if it with you, if it's particular scent, then they'll continue to use that because they know they grab your attention immediately. So it's how you quickly understand that they're around. But fantastic way. Why not? It's good. Corinne says, my daughter seen my mom after her passing. She ran, fell over the stairs, and I ran up the stairs to see if I could see her. But no, but yeah, I've got no answer to that. But it's very common. A parent or grandparent will appear usually in in a bedroom at the foot of the bed or sitting in a chair, whatever the case may be. But the reason why they can appear to children is because children don't really judge the situation. Us as parents, if our moms and dads turn up, will it can be traumatic. Okay, so think about it. It can be traumatic. Okay. Oh, I get another idiot. God, the idiots are coming out in droves tonight. Well, they've been having a conference. Sandra Della Gudu Gaga Gaga, whatever. Once again, these guys here who jump in, by the way, folks, just as you understand, they are rip-off merchants. Okay, they're not real psychics and they're not real mediums, because real psychics and mediums don't do this. Okay, so my advice is do not, under any circumstances, accept a reading from them, and for God's sake, for the love of God, do not hand over any kind of funds or give them any access to your computers, even. Alrighty, you may not have to pass your funds over, but if they've gained access to your computer, my advice is you change your passcodes immediately. Hi Deke, welcome to the show. Lovely to see you. Right, okay. Now let me discuss Lauren Mayfield. Sorry, I've just about to do something. I just saw a message from Lauren Mayfield sending good vibes your way. Lauren, thank you. Very much appreciated. Very much needed, to be absolutely honest with you. Any messages from a dear friend, Terry? I don't do reads on Thursday night show, Lauren, my darling. I hate having to say no to people, but I'm not open to reads. I mean, if somebody wants to come through and to deliver a message, I'll deliver it. But tonight's show is all about discovery of ourselves. Okay, discovery about how we are, how the world affects us, how we affect the world, and how our spirit energies affect us. And so some sort of the show's called Spirit Quest: The Journey of Life. So it's kind of a big smorgasbord of what affects us and how we affect it, and so on and so forth. So it's all about that. But Lauren, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so very much. Wow. Okay, let's keep going. I will get to talk about angels momentarily, promise you. Do you think there's a possibility, says Alison, we have read that again. Do you think there's a possibility we have feelings of when our time's coming to an end? Oh, yes. I don't think it's a possibility, it's a fact. Okay. My mom had been talking about when I'm gone. Yes. And a good bit for a good bit, but at the same time, I was not hearing her. If that makes sense, it makes absolute sense, Alison. I'll tell you why. You don't want to hear it. I say it to my kids a lot. I'll do something and they'll go, "Oh, Dad, for God's sake!" And then they'll go, and I'll say, "Hey, there's going to come a time in the not too distant future you'll wish I was here to do that again." And then they usually go, "Oh, shut up, Dad." And that's because we don't want to hear someone talking about them not being here anymore. So we don't want to hear of them talking about, especially their demise. Okay, we don't want to hear about that. And our coding is no, you're not going to die. No, you're going to be here forever. That's our coding. Fact is something completely different. But for all of you guys who are parents, especially the ladies, when you're pregnant, you go through a situation called nesting. You think about it. So you're about 3-4 months in, whatever it is. I'm not too sure how it works, but you start going through a concept called nesting, where you start prepping for the baby coming along. You do it in automation. It's called nesting. That's what it's called. Well, as we get towards the end of our lives, our spirit friends and family, our guides, and even our own instincts are starting to get us ready for the crossing. Most people who have crossed over, not all, but most people you'll find will have taken care of everything. Their banking will be all up to scratch. Their legalities will be up to scratch. Their bills will all be up to scratch. All that kind of stuff will seem to have been done. I'll say it again. Most, not all. Okay, so don't be hitting me over the head with, yeah, mine wasn't done that way. Once again, not all. Most will. But we kind of are given a wee bit of a heads up as we're starting to draw towards the end of our time. But it's very true, Alison. But the reason why we don't, or we deliberately miss, it's called selective hearing. That's what it's called. Once they start talking about once I'm gone, we don't want to hear that, so we jump over it. Dawn Hatton says, I will send you pasties and cream teas. Thanks. Could do with that. Wow. So, Kate Sandra, oh my God, there's another one. Kate Sandra is asking Alison to send me a friend request and I'll give you a full and accurate reading, right? If you've actually got to request that, then you're not going to get a full and accurate reading. Richard says, my dad had COPD, sorry. He lay down and 5 days later, he finally went to the other side. I'm sorry to hear that, my dear friend. But you can be assured he's with his family and absolutely safe now. I laugh at that ghost hunting TV shows. You know, weirdly enough, that's one of the areas which gets my goat up, and I tend to lose my temper with it because they talk so much rubbish. It's untrue. Right. I'm trying to get down to everybody's questions because I can't believe we're actually an hour and a half into the show. Okay, here's a good one. How do you get to the point of getting to trust more on my readings? Thanks. Actually, I'm going to be doing some seminars on how to work more with spirit guides and how to work with understanding what is your thoughts and what are thoughts being put into you by spirits. So look out for those seminars coming up. Do you think that our brains are evolving and we eventually develop where we understand it all a lot better? Yeah, absolutely. We only use a very, very small, I think it's 20% of our brain power. So there's 80% of our brain power not in use. And they've identified where the psychic part of the brain is as well. So like I said on a couple of shows back, when you start developing your psychic ability and ultimately your mediumship, it's like a muscle. I call it the psychic muscle. The more you work out, the greater the development. So the same with the brain. The more you work out with the brain power through just basic brain power training, brain training, hence the name. But the psychic aspect of that grows as well. I actually call it personal development because I don't like the word psychic development. Because as you develop psychically, you develop as a person, and as you develop personally, you develop psychically. So I call it personal development. So your personal development gets stronger and stronger. You get bigger and bigger. Your capacity to think is quicker. You're able to retain more, and the ability to understand what the psychic connection is over a guess or is something completely different. But it gets stronger the more you develop it, and the brain physically doesn't get bigger. You just start using more of it. So, right. Okay, going back to what the show was supposed to be about tonight, says Corin. Paul, what's your thoughts on orbs? Oh my goodness! I was supposed to actually do the show about orbs and about energy. So do you know what? I'm going to basically talk about that right now. Okay. Michigan's in the house, by the way. By the way, Lisa is here. Lovely to see you, darling. Welcome to the show. So, Paul, thoughts on orbs around day or night? Now, I happened to be watching a program today on a chat, and he was talking about NDEs. He had had a near fatal crash. Well, actually, the crash was both fatal and serious enough for him as well. Sadly, the gentleman lost his wife and his baby son instantly in the accident, and he survived with his 7-year-old son. So half the family basically died instantly in the crash. There is a road accident during which he was able to leave his body. He experienced NDEs. Now I'm not going to go right through the entire what it was all about. I'm just going to share what happened, during which he said he was engulfed in a ball of light, and he was able to go around the hospital where they were looking after him. He was able to link with all of the people in the hospital. In other words, he linked with them, i.e., energy wise. But he was in the ball of light that went around the hospital, and it hit me. Oh my god, he's talking about orbs. Okay, now it's well known. You have two schools of thought really that falls into the concept of orbs. One is that they are the manifestation of energy and the beginnings of a physical manifestation of a spirit or energy to let you know that they're there, which I wholeheartedly agree with, by the way. So, but the other concept is, and one of my dear friends, Gary, will say, do you know it is a bit of dust that has been reflective of light, and the camera is picking that up as a little dot of light. He's right as well. He is absolutely right as well, but not all on both sides of that fence are right. Sometimes they're wrong. I have seen orbs. In fact, if you go onto my YouTube channel, you'll see me doing paranormal investigations where orbs were reacting to me. Okay. And I was standing still. It's not if I was moving around creating wind and air, and they would, it would deflect the dust. But the orbs would change direction, speed. They go up, down, and even change colors. Now that's the manifestation or the beginning of a manifestation of energy from spirit to physical. So I wholeheartedly agree with that. But also, and in because Gary's a photographer, he was explaining that dust can have reflective surfaces. It can pick up on any light, and the camera will pick that up. Now, the difference and how you tell the difference between dust and an orb is dust has a singular trajectory. So it doesn't decide it's going to change direction. The only time it'll change direction is if it is physically affected, and that'll be either by air movement, which is the primary. But the other thing that can affect dust is actually magnetic. Okay, heat will affect dust as well. But it will either go one way or another. Okay, that's the difference in dust. That's what dust is. An orb of energy will change a direction through choice. That is the other difference. Okay, so my thoughts on orbs are they are very much a big part of our lives. They are around us constantly. You can actually get to see orbs physically with the naked eye, but you will also catch them on your camera through your cell phone or mobile phone or your own, camera system. Um, if you start seeing orbs and you're not too sure whether they are spirit energies or just dust, then ask them. Okay, hi, I just caught you in an orb sense. Can you do something else to let me know you're around? Ask them. Now, I did mention a little bit earlier that I was going to discuss quickly for Ronnie about how to set up a house energy wise. Now, we're 25 minutes, so I'm going to really, really compensate this by shortening it. Like I mentioned earlier, okay, we are collectors and we are transporters of energy, whether we like it or not. Okay, now unless you do a personal cleanse on a regular basis, which you should do, by the way, a personal cleanse on a regular basis or a cleanse of your environment. Now that'll be your work, your car, and your home. Okay, those are three places you spend a lot of time. Now, energy is something that can't be destroyed. It just changes form. Okay, now I'm shortening this down. The best thing to do is get yourself a copy of my book, The Safe Way. Go on to Amazon, go on to wherever. I've even seen it on eBay. So Paul Francis, The Safe Way. Now, but only get the final version. There are three versions of it. The final version is my face is on the front of the book, and it's called the Safeway Deluxe version. Okay, because there was three versions of it. The last version was how I originally written it, but the publishers at the beginning for some reason said they wanted just to build it up. But this version, which is called Paul Francis The Safe Way, the deluxe version is the final. I'm not going to be doing any more to that. So get yourself a copy of that. In there, it tells you all about how to set up and how to deal with and how to cleanse and clear energy. But I'll give you a quick overview. What a lot of people do is they go in and they smudge. Great. Now what? Well, is that it? No, it's not even remotely close to it. Okay. Smudging is a good way of breaking down negative energy, but you only break it down, you haven't cleared it. That's a big misunderstanding. A lot of people don't understand. The smudging will clear it, they'll break it down, but they'll break it down, but they haven't cleared it. Okay. So imagine when you're in your, let's choose for the sake of it, a room in your home. Okay. So you go into that room, there's a doorway, obviously you have to get into it, and usually there'll be a window. So if you're doing a cleanse and a clear in the springtime, my advice is to open the window. Okay. So you go into each corner with your smudging, with your sage, and I have a special feather for it as well. So I'll fan the smudging of the smoke into the area, and I will physically say the following. I break down all the negative energy in this corner. I ask the angels of protection to clear it. We send it out the window, and I replace it with the white light of love and divine protection. Okay. Earlier, I said to you, get a piece of paper and a pen handy. You're going to need it to make a list. So, what you need to do, a smudging and a breaking down of energy, is this: one, something to smudge with, i.e., sage. Okay, that's the best, the smudging stick. But if you have the right intent and the right focus and force, you can do it with your favorite incense sticks as well. I actually do a lot of it with incense sticks. But in a case where I'm going into a house for the first time, I will use white sage. So then you need something to move that smoke. And I'm very, very blessed in the fact that I have a Native American family who sent me this beautiful feather, eagle feather. So I will use that to fan the smoke. The next thing I use is I have a singing bowl. So before you actually do the breaking down of the energy, if you tap the singing bowl, it'll go boom. Now, if the negative energy in the room is kind of quite coarse, the ring will sound out very quickly. It'll go boom, and it'll just drop off really, really quickly. Now, as I say, you fan the smoke into the corner. One other item I forgot to say is you need a water sprayer set on fine spray with kosher salt and water. Kosher salt, and if you can't get kosher salt, sea salt would be the best thing to use. So a mixture shook up of your kosher salt water or sea salt water, your smudging stick, your feather, and of course your thing for making a sign, be it a bell or be it a singing bowl, whatever makes a sign. So you ding, send that energy out. You then fan the smoke into the corner. You say, I ask the angels to help me break down the negative energy in this. We send it out to the light to be cleansed. I then ask I call upon the angels to fill this corner with the white light of love and divine protection. So you've broken the energy down, you've sent it into the light to be cleansed. That's where you send it out the window. And then you ask that corner to be filled with the white light of love and divine protection. A lot of people don't do that, and they need to, because when you imagine a suitcase and you take everything out of the suitcase, that suitcase is now empty to be filled with something else. And unless you fill it, it will fill with something else. So you fill it with the white light of love and divine protection. At this point, I call upon my angels of protection for the next 3 to 5 days to make sure that that corner of this house is protected and secured. Now, do that with every corner in that room, and then again, finally, in the center of that room. Then you have your kosher salt, and then you spray that fine spray into each corner to finally break down any remnants of negative energy. And while you're saying that, and you just say, whilst I'm spraying this salt water into this corner to break down any final remnants, I ask that to be sent to the into the white light to be cleansed, and I fill it with the white light of love and divine protection. Then you do a spray around the window and then around the door frame. Your minds have all just went boom now, right? So all of that information is in my book. So get yourself a copy of that book. It's not expensive, by the way. So you need a salt spray, water spray, and set on fine mist because you don't really want it to be soaking your room. So you literally break down the energy. You fill it with the white light of love and divine energy. You spray the corner to get rid of any last remnants. You fill it again with the white light of love and divine energy. You do that with every corner. You ask the angels to protect and look after every corner for the next 3 to 5 days or 7 days, whatever you want. And finally, of course, you do it in the center of the room. You then spray right around the windowsill to keep out any negative energy coming in. And you do it around the door frame. You do that with every room in your house, including your hallways, including your cupboards, including your attic space. Then you go outside the house. You do the spray around the door, front door and back door, around the window frames that you can reach. Then right around the literally the bottom of the house, all the way right around it. If you live in a detached house, go right around the entire house. If you live in a semi-detached, go right around which part of the house that you own. And you do that exercise at least 4 times a year. Now, the next place to do that same exercise is in your car because it's a transporter of energy nonetheless. And then finally, your workplace. Okay. I mean, you're going to walk in there armed to the teeth with all this stuff. People are going to look at you and go, what the hell do you think you're doing? So obviously, you have to do it in your own way. It is possible to do it projected. In other words, in a meditative state. You can do it that way. My advice is do it physically anyway, nonetheless. So that's a quick overview of how that works already. We don't need readings. We have you. Oh, bless you, Trude. Thank you very much. Gosh, they are coming out. They are coming out tonight, aren't they? This Mary Donaldson. He looks like a Mary Donaldson, doesn't he? Dream Lady says, do I have someone protect me? You can be absolutely assured you have somebody protecting you. Let's put, for example, if you have, like, for example, Alison has a mother or grandmother that's in spirit. That mother grandmother would have looked after Alison while she was here. Why would you think they would stop doing that when they go to spirit? They're going to keep an eye on you. They're going to keep making sure they're still parents when they get to spirit. But also, in addition, we have what I refer to as our guides. And our guides also work hard to protect us as well. Okay, I actually have one of my guide, or one of my teams, I call them. His job is to do nothing else but protect me. That's his job. His name is Blackfoot. He's a big, huge, powerful Native American. I think he's Cherokee. And he took, in 35 years, well, he's been there with me most of my life, but in the 35 years of being a professional medium, I think he's spoken to me about 6 times. Usually he just grunts at me. Ooh. Again, he sounds like that. He always looks so solemn. But he has spoken to me a few times, and he let me know that his job is literally to protect me. That's it. So, yeah, well, you're going to have no less. You're going to have no less. Wow, what a fantastic show. Please don't accept any of these idiots who are jumping in saying message me, because they are literally going to rip you off. Okay, where are we? Pamela says, Paul, do you know the there are different kind of angels, like different levels. Also, difference between regular angels and archangels. Well, okay, that's Pamela. That's about 5 shows. Okay, I'm gonna make this. I've only literally got about 7 minutes left, so I'm gonna make this very simple. Something for you to practice. Okay, all y'all. Okay, you have angels for everything. Everything. Boom. Everything. All angels are magnificent. They're amazing, and they love helping us, but they can't help us unless you invite them in. Okay, you have to invite them to help you. So they basically, we're spirit guides, and our spirit friends family can jump in and be a part of our lives. Angels are a part of our lives, but they can't break the law by doing things for you. They have to be invited too. So I even have angels in parking, and my kids take the Mickey regularly. And one night we were going to the cinema, and the cinema is in a completely different town away from me, about 40 minutes, 45 minutes away from me. And they said, "Go on, Dad, prove it. You could park at Angels." So I was sitting outside our house, and I said, "Right, okay, you want me to prove it?" And they went, "Yeah, prove it, Dad." So I said, "Right, okay." And I physically sat right in the car, and I said, "Okay, my parking angels, please have me a good spot at the cinema when we get there." So off we went, and 40 minutes later, we arrive in the city. The night wasn't the most pleasant of nights. It was kind of raining slightly. So I said, "I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll pull right up to the cinema, and then I'll get a space." And you could hear the girls giggling in the back, parking angels. As I pulled up to the cinema, a car pulled out right in front of the cinema, opening up a space. And I looked back at the girls, and they were both going, "Oh my God." I said, "And they can't help you unless you ask." And I literally had a parking space open up for me as I arrived, literally right outside the cinema. That's because I asked them. Archangels, I work with the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Jophael, and Barakil. They are the archangel teams, and there are higher angels again. And there are multiples and multiples of. Oh, I could be here for literally hours. So, but there are multiples of angels. It's a nice thing to get to learn the different seraphims and so on and so forth. But really, you just need to know the angels and the archangels. Um, what their capacity and what they're for. And you will have an angel assigned to you as well. But don't be afraid to say, "Angels of abundance, I really need your help. Please bring me," and let them do their job. If you are struggling with something in particular, the angels say, "Hand it to us," and say, "Listen, okay, I call upon the angels to help me with this problem," but then give it to them. Okay, don't go, I need help with this problem," and then hold on to the problem. Give it to them. Let them sort it out. But angels are angels warriors. Some of them, yeah, and not all angels look what you think. The big white wings and very very beautiful beings. Some angels look quite grotesque. For an example, if you've been outside a cathedral and you look up and they've got these grotesque little gargoyles. Hello, angels. Guys, it's 10 to 11, which means I've got literally 10 minutes to finish off the show. Sue says, "I have cameras at my mom's, and she's poorly, and I see orbs when she leaves the room. I'm pretty sure it's my dad." I'm pretty confident it would be family members around your mom making sure she's fine. Don't worry about that. You can be absolutely sure of that. The day after my dad passed, oh my God, the place was like teeming with orbs. Oh my goodness, we got somebody called Macmillan intuitive readings now. They are coming out of the woodwork tonight under these idiots. What kind of a prat uses the name Macmillan as an intuitive reading? My advice, please report them to Facebook if you'd be so kind, guys. And definitely do not give somebody called Macmillan intuitive reading your details. Alrighty. Right, where are we? Pamela says your guardian angel is good for that. I was going to bring Pamela up so you can see. Your guardian angel is good for that. These others need to invite to work, as Paul has just mentioned. Yes, very much so. Guys, thank you so very, very much for being here tonight. I will be back with you on Monday night for Reach Across, which is my show that's dedicated to doing live real time reads. Um, this show I'd like to keep going. It's growing nicely, and the discussions are fantastic. So please, please, please continue to support the show. Lisa says, "Do we have travel angels to protect us?" Yes, we do. Yes, indeed. And when I'm out going in the car, I ask my travel angels to protect the car, and I literally close my eyes and I see two angels flying alongside of the car protecting it. So, and yes, absolutely, you've angels for everything. Okay, I've even known to be called upon the angels to help me when I'm making dinner. Please help me get this right. They love the very fact that you acknowledge them, the very fact that you let them know that you need them is a big thing for them. Okay, and even if you don't need something, why don't you just say to them, "Thank you very much for just being here." They love that too. Um, right. Tina's just said we do because they saved me. I got hurt, but not unlived. I like that, unlived. Tina, I'm glad you're here. I'm very, very glad you're here. We have reached the end of tonight's show, folks. Don't forget, coming after the show tonight, you have Michelle and Amelia with the Outer Limits, Outer Realms, sorry, and we have they have. There's a lot of fantastic shows on UPRN Talk Radio. Coming to you 105.3 to 107.7 FM from the very beautiful New Orleans. Like I said, I'll be back on Monday night at 8 p.m. UK time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern. But in the meantime, on Saturday, you will have the very brilliant Roger Garza Sr. with This Mug's For You. Make sure you tune in for that. It's about 10:30 in the morning Mountain Time, I think he calls it. But for us, it's 4:30 in the afternoon UK time or GMT. Roger's there. If you stick up the time with your show's on, buddy, that'll be able to do that. Thank you, says Ronnie, for I look forward to cleaning and smudging my new apartment. Anybody has any questions, feel free to message me. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can with everything I can do for you guys. Anybody like Allison, if you want to talk to me privately and ask me some questions, again, I will be more than happy to help you. Remember, though, where I am. If you're in America, don't forget I'm here in the UK, which means it's 5 minutes to 11 at night. So when you start messaging me in an hour and 2 hours time, which means it's 1 a.m. in the morning, you're not going to get replied to. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all your love. Don't forget to pay my website a wee visit, www.paulfrancis111.com. And you can actually subscribe onto that. It's completely free of charge. There are a multiple of different videos on my YouTube channel and free meditations in there. Feel free to use them. Feel free to download them and feel free to share them at my absolute will. Okay. I'll see you all again on Monday night. Hopefully I'll be around to drop in on Roger's show on Saturday. But until you see you again, don't forget what I said. Communicate, appreciate, then validate everyone in your life so a medium never has to do it for you. And don't forget, take at least 15 minutes out of every day just for you. You're the most important person. Until I see you again, good night, God bless. And remember, like I said, you are the most important person. So make sure your energies are high by giving yourself a break and enjoy life to the max. Until I see you again, good night, God bless.